This problem is number 26 from the 2016 Sycamore Math Invitational. And I really liked this problem because it has a couple really good solutions to it. And any of them are valid for this problem. So I'm going to show you all the ones that I know of, and maybe you know of some as well. That would be another way to do it. There's two in particular that I think are good for us to know. First off, I drew the picture already, and we know that A has radius 4 and B has radius 8. And then we know that these 2 points are called C and D. And so when we draw all these radius in, which I got to tell you, whenever you have problems like this, where you've got intersecting circles with different radius, drawing in the radius is usually a good idea. If I do that, I notice that AC is 4 and AD is 4. And then I also notice that CB is 8 and AB is 8 and DB is 8. Now, what I think is the easiest answer, that is to recognize that when I connect these up, that value, CD, is actually perpendicular to AB. And it's perpendicular to AB because it's the AB and CD are the diagonal of the kite ACBD. And the diagonals of a kite are perpendicular to each other. So you can do this in one of two ways. One way is to do what I did when I did this problem, which is to recognize that if I pull out part of this, it looks like this, and I get a isosceles triangle that is an 8, 8, 4, and then I want to find out, because this is a right angle, what this length is, and if I can find that length, the length from here to here, I call that E, if I can find that length, then I just multiply by 2 and I get the answer. Well, that's the height, and I know the base, and so if I can find the area of this triangle, then I can find that this length right here, which is h. Well, the area is found, as we do whenever we have isosceles triangles. We draw in the altitude to the vertex angle, which is also the perpendicular bisector. We do the Pythagorean theorem, right? 2 squared times x squared equals 64 squared. Well, if you were to do that, I'm not going to take the time to finish that off. If you get 4 plus x squared equals 64, you get x is 2 root 5. Root 60, which is 2 root 5. Well, the area of the triangle is simply 1/2 times the base, which is 4, times 2 root 5, which gives you 4 15, my bad, sorry, 2 root 15 and 4 root 15. So you get 4 root 15 is the area. Well, if that's the area, then if I want to find h, I find out that h is simply going to be the area of the triangle, which equals 1/2 times the base, which in this case for that h is 8, times h, and that equals the area, which I just found to be 4 root 15. Well, 1/2 times 8 is 4, so I can cancel those both out, and I get h equals root 15, which means that 2 times h is 2 root 15. And that is the correct answer to this problem, 2 root 15. Now, the other way you could have done this is to use Pythagorean theorem a couple times. And that is you let this right here be x, you can let this length be y, which means this length right here would be 8 minus y. And so you'd have x squared plus y squared equals, well, this is 4, so it would be 16. And then x squared plus 8 minus y squared equals 64. If you go through and you do your math and you subtract this one from this one, you can go through and you can find out what y is, and once you find out what y is, then you can go through and find x pretty easily, just by plugging it back in, and you get your x as your root 15 for the same reason. You're going to find out, by the way, that y equals 1 if you go through. So if you solve this system of equations, which is very solvable here, I'll just do it really quick. Because when you multiply this out, you get 64 minus 16y plus y squared equals 64. So these 64's cancel. So when you subtract this, you get 0x squared. The y squareds cancel. 0 minus 16y is just 16y. 16 minus 0 is just 16, so y equals 1. And then just plugging y equals 1 here, it's easy to see that x is root 15. which means that CD is 2 root 15.